All right, and at long last, we are back, getting ourselves all set and ready to go. It's been a bit interesting, just a little bit. As okay, so rundown of the situation. It was supposed to be Forgiven Sin taking on DreamTech Gaming. DreamTech Gaming did not show. This is their fourth or fifth week in a row of not showing up for their game. So they were kicked from the tournament.
Thank you.
And so they were kicked from the tournament by the tournament admins and have now been replaced with Team Elixir, who is going to be taking up the record that they had, is going to be basically just taking their spot completely, just as if it had been Elixir all along. It is unfortunate for Elixir. They are going to be starting up with the 0-4 record that DreamTech Gaming had already acquired. And so it's going to be difficult for them.
Everyone loves an underdog story. Now, I'm not talking like the first Rocky. I'm talking maybe like the fourth Rocky at this point. But it's still an underdog story, and you still got to root for them. I'm just a little bit biased because I want to be the best sub last knows. So, okay.
Well, I believe you're already going to be competing with Tyler656 for that title. But either way, we are, as you can see now, in the picks and ban phase. The bans are done. It was Gragas, Victor, and Vayne banned away on the side of Forgiven Sin, Lee Sin, Sejuani, and Cho'Gath for Elixir.
I wonder if they have any idea who they're playing against right now, because for the past 5-6 weeks, no one has even known who Elixir was. We just met them tonight and we got all acquainted. But did Forgiven Sin have any time to actually do any research? And the same question goes for Elixir. How recently did they know that they were going to be coming into this tournament? Either way, I'm glad to have both of them here. I'm glad to actually have a game tonight.
Yeah, if it weren't for the Elixir replacing DreamTech, then we would have had 2 forfeits on the night, and everybody would have gone home disappointed, with the exception of the 10 players on the 2 teams that got the win. However, and once again, this match is going to count. This is a fully recorded match. Whichever team wins gets the win on the standings. So it is Aurelia actually going to be the first pick here for the side of Forgiven Sin.
Better nerfer. God, I need to stop saying all these cliched things. Like, I should be more original and such with my idioms and expressions I use. Vi and Callista again locked in for Elixir.
Yeah, those two are extremely strong. Vi has been falling off a little bit recently because everyone's wants the super tank jungles. But with Gragas and Sejuani being banned, not terribly surprised to see the Vi be one of the next fallbacks. Zac is another very strong option in the jungle, as that is what is being hovered for Forgiven Sin here.
You also have a Nautilus open that's up for an option. Though Nautilus support still on the field. Nunu now getting hovered over. Now, one thing I want to say is Vi can still get tanky. You just build a Trinity Force as your only damage on her and go straight tank, and she can still be a wrecking ball.
It definitely can. I don't like the. I much prefer the Warriors enchantment on her.
Yeah.
Because she's all about the early game, being able to get into lanes, make a huge impact, and the Warriors enchantment on her jungle item just makes her super effective at doing that one.
You could say that she does a lot of collateral damage.
You could say
Even
that.
though that's not her skill.
Yeah.
I am really, really sad I just made that joke. Like, I'm just like, oh my god, and I do this for a living? No, it's not okay.
Yeah, we are going to be seeing that the Annie and Zac were both locked in there. Annie could be a flex pick for either the mid or support role. So now we're waiting to see. Oh boy, that's going to be a big tanky team coming from the side.
Can you say frontline?
Elixir.
Okay, but still, say frontline. Like, honestly.
Yeah, that's between Vi, Gnar, and Leona. Like, they're just going to be so difficult to kill. And however, though, the side of Forgiven Sin, they have the ability to do so. I mean, Zac and Leona do a lot of good sustained damage. Zed, I'm a little bit iffy on, because Zed is going to need to... he's so focused on just bursting someone down from full immediately, and you're only going to have, right now, you're looking at Callista is his only option for that.
Now, one thing I want to point out is, yeah, you just mentioned that they have a lot of CC on Gnar, Leona, and Vi. How do you expect to get through all of that CC? Okay, I understand they don't do much damage. Maybe if they get big, one of those champions could be a threat. But with all that CC, how do you expect to catch out that Callista?
Yeah, not to mention Callista herself is just so good at kiting around. It's going to be a very difficult task, and with Corki being picked up there as well, I'm okay with the Corki pick because they are going to be looking to dominate the early mid game. And Corki, of course, once he hits that mid game power spike, he becomes super strong. He does fall off later on, but with the team that is being built for Elixir, Forgiven Sin doesn't want to get to late game. They don't want this game to go late because they're just not going to be able to get through that front line in the late game.
The only benefit they have getting to a late game is the point where LeBlanc just dances around doing nothing. Unless she is able to also transition extremely well. But it just looks like Forgiven Sin needs to end this game before even Irelia can get near her power spike. Yes, she has a good early game, but she is a monster late game. But look at that late game potential on Elixir's side of the field. You have a Callista, you have a Leona, and a Gnar. Leona's going to be a steady peel for the Callista throughout the game. If Vi gets big, though, that's going to be a problem as well. There's just so much just power on Elixir's team. I want to give them a very strong lead coming out of this pick and ban phase.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, even looking at the early game, Callista Leona, I feel, is a lot stronger than the Corki Annie. Corki Annie, while it is a very strong lane, the Callista's just going to be able to constantly put down harassment onto the Corki.
Dodge the couple of skill shots that Corki has besides that Gatling gun. She'll be able to get away from a Tibbers if that is blown a little bit too ahead of time. It's just, I like every matchup that Elixir has going for them right now. LeBlanc into Zed, both early assassins. If LeBlanc roams, Zed can push mid lane just because he is an AD assassin, AD carry. Like, he can do damage to towers. But if LeBlanc is able to pick up a kill and Zed is still pushing middle, that's going to be going in her favor no matter what.
Yeah, so really strong pick ban phase coming out from Elixir. I do feel like they have a very well-suited team. However, anything can happen. I mean, this is League of Legends. If Forgiven Sin is able to get advantages in the early game, if they're able to build up a lead early on, they could end up just choking out the side of Elixir and not letting them get far ahead and be able to move themselves into a position to win the game. But it is going to be a very difficult task for them just because, again, Callista, as long as her positioning is good, it's going to be so difficult to get on the damage onto her that they're going to need to do.
Now, what do you think about this top lane matchup? We're going to see Irelia versus Gnar. Irelia does have a little bit of an early game advantage, but I want to say whatever jungler can have bigger impact is going to win this lane for their top lane.
Yeah, I do feel like Gnar has the advantage early on just because of having that range and, of course, then the tankiness of being able to jump in when he does hit that transformation.
Okay,
but,
yeah.
I mean, Irelia is one of those top laners that can just survive, though. It doesn't matter what kind of situation you play her in. She does have some really strong counters, but even when she gets countered and gets punished early on, she's one of those streamers that just eventually gets to that point where she becomes what she's known to be. And so despite the fact that I do feel like Gnar has an advantage early, Aurelia is still going to get to a really strong point The problem is that if Gnar wins the lane early, he's going to get to his really strong point a lot faster and have a lot more impact. So we are just a couple seconds away from getting on in to the loading screen, which is, of course, the precursor to being loaded onto the Rift. What we've all been waiting for,
we'll talk
finally
about
getting
Skin
underway.
Wars for like a minute. But did you mention that Forgiven Sin is in LCS order?
Well, I mean, Elixir, I wasn't going to because Elixir tried to get into LCS order, but just didn't have the time. And my League of Legends client just crashed, so we'll be trying to reconnect here.
Well, they tried. Do we know that they tried to get into that order? They tried to get into order, but like we sort of jumped the gun. It doesn't matter. Things are happening. We're getting into the game. I'll do the Skin Wars, I guess. Cool. All right, just waiting for one more. So on the blue side with Forgiven Sin, we're going to be seeing Frostbite or Aurelia coming out from Sanosuke. I hate pronouncing these names.
Sanosuke.
That. Special Weapon Zach going to be in the jungle with Sexual Schmidt. Dr. Dem Zero N is going to be using Shockblade Zero. Hot Rod Corky on My Buns, Your Oven. And Frostfire Annie coming out on the Fire Pokemon. Ooh. Weird.
Yeah, over on the side of Elixir, it is Off Survive for Palio's back, Blood Moon Callista for Mean Dean, Wicked LeBlanc on Eminon, Mav G with Leona, and Call Me Loki playing the classic Gnar. So we should be getting loaded on into the Rift in just a moment here. Just waiting.
Momento, por favor. Call me Loki. You need to feed your hamster, man. Oh my god. That poor hamster.
Oh, there he goes. Looks like he finally actually connected fully. Oh, never mind. There's a slowdown. And it slows down again. Oh boy.
Almost got it. Just a tad more. You're doing great. I'm really rooting for you, man. I want you to get into this game. All right. Enough for asking the man over his poor load speed. Must enjoy a lot of good toast. I'm hungry.
So just gonna have to continue to wait a bit here.
Key the Jeopardy music. No, that must be one of the plus sides of having a LAN tournament. Everyone like loads in at the same exact speed.
Unless it's a bring your own computer LAN. In which case you still have to worry about that.
Okay. All right, fair.
Oh, it's moving again. There we go.
He is at 100, but how long will everyone be at 100? I've been at 100 for like 10 minutes and then realized I'm joining the game late because my league just decided to be awkward. We won that game, by the way. My team was really good.
We are just going to be waiting. Hopefully it switches over to in-game soon. There we go. Finally loading on in. Just going to have to do some quick repositioning.
Why does it say live at 9 minutes?
Because that's a spectator bug that's been there for like years now. So just got to wait for it to actually finish loading everybody in. And it will jump back down to starting up the game. No ducky in the river. At least not yet. I'll see if he appears when it does reset. There we go. There's the reset.
Okay.
Now everybody just going to be loading on in to the game, getting ourselves underway. Annie charging up her spells already, and the gates are down, and they are off, making their way.
Plays right there. Take notes. Wait, this isn't the LCS.
The oath has been taken. Leona going to be getting the spear of truth, of destiny, of whatever you want to call it, from Callista.
Pick of destiny?
It's definitely a spear. However, going to be just getting some deep wards down from both sides, getting that line of scrimmage ward set.
Stuck in my head.
And going to be just nothing really happening. Most of Elixir grouping up in this bush.
We have 4 people in one bush.
I'll see if Corky goes to face check this. I highly doubt it, though. There's literally no reason for him to do so, and they are going to be dropping back on out of there. Oh, actually, looks like they're going to go for an invade, but they are going to get spotted by the ward that was placed earlier from Forgiven SYN. So this is going to be pretty tricky. Corky just going to throw out the phosphorus bomb.
Now they know they know.
Just saying, like, hey guys, how about you get out of our jungle? You know,
that phosphorus bomb doing so much work. Look at all of them running all the way back to their grump. Oh my god, it's already 10:17 on the East Coast.
Letting go!
Early poke going
Right,
out from Irelia.
Apparently, why is my capture device is broken?
Whoa.
Yeah, it is just not recognizing the League client for some reason.
So, like, should I solo cast at least an area while you're trying to fix the problem?
You can try to. I'm gonna restart the client, see if that fixes things.
Alright, well, nothing really happening besides our early poke coming out from Irelia onto Gnar, and Gnar returning it right back with boomerangs and a couple ranged harass. Bottom lane, not even less damage going out in between champions. Everyone just trying to get a little bit of farm, and mid lane doing the same. Zed pulling out a little bit of an early lead.
There we go. Okay, so I had to restart the client. It legitimately just like the overlay was not. It wasn't even the overlay. It was the game capture, which is like, no, I'm just going to keep capturing the loading screen instead of actually getting into the game. But we are back with the game now. So my apologies for that.
Alright, well, Vi just tried to gank up top lane with her double buffs, but she wasn't able to land her Vault Breaker. Irelia did burn an early flash. Flash going to come out from Annie. She's going to get a stun out on both Leona and... What's her name? Kalista, sorry. But now of it. Zach did come down for a gank, but nothing's happening. Kalista having to burn both of her summoners. Leona keeping both of those. And he did blow her ignite, and no kills so far.
And meanwhile, up top, Irelia and Gnar duking it out. Irelia doing a nice job of keeping herself healthy up there and keeping up in CS. Of course, we also have a black box for Gnar on Call Me Loki because spectator mode is fantastic.
What do you mean? Oh, that's awkward.
Call Me Loki actually going to get dropped very low by Zenzo Sanosuke there. Is going to be able to escape though, and just going to continue to try and CS. Having a slight lead over Irelia in terms of CS, but just Irelia doing a lot of damage back to him.
If Irelia would have felt a little bit more...
Leona going to go in onto the Corky, but he's just going to Valkyrie away.
A little bit more confident in his ability. Probably could have picked up first blood for his team this game, but decided better against it by hanging out in the area.
There's Irelia going in, almost going to get that first blood. Call Me Loki so low. Here comes Valio's back for another gank up top. Going to be just dishing out a lot of damage onto Irelia. She is going to get the stun onto Vi. Gnar going to pay a visit back in, but that is a mistake as Irelia just uses that dash to get onto a flash coming out of the Vi to pick up the kill. Meanwhile, down bottom, Annie is going to get stunned up. A lot of damage coming from Kalista. Not going to get that rend off, though. So she should be pretty safe here as 2 kills coming from the top lane, 1 for each team.
Such a little bit of a mistake. Call Me Loki should have just recalled and tried to come back in with a teleport. trying to cut off either just Irelia's escape maybe, but deciding to go back in without even having a potion or any sort of health regeneration active was a very poor decision on his part.
Yeah, definitely. Pretty much gave the first blood over to Aurelia. Yeah, she did go down for it as well, but Gnar didn't even get an assist on that because it had been so long.
And he didn't even have a boomerang out when she had dashed to him. It was a straight cold cut and clean kill for Irelia on the Gnar. Yes, she did end up dying to Vi, but Vi had to blow her flash just to secure that kill. Zach was already on the way and would have been up there to save her had she stalled out any longer.
Yeah, so gonna be a pretty good lane for Aurelia going forward now. Again, still a little bit behind in CS, but with that kill, actually going to be a lot further in terms of gold. Getting that SYN first, obviously going to be going for that Trinity Force rush, as that's just what Aurelia does. Zach going to be fighting out the Gnar a bit here, but Gnar actually doing a lot of good damage back to him.
Yeah, Zach went in a little bit too far without any backup. Aurelia deciding it was a little bit better just to go back, trying to farm up her lane. Zach did go a little bit deep, and once Gnar got out of Mega, he was just harassing him all the way back to Irelia's cover. A little bit too
SYN played, gonna follow all the way through the Valkyrie of Corki, and that's gonna be a good amount of damage coming out onto the Leona, but everyone will be backing off despite Vi's presence.
Meanwhile, mid, LeBlanc and Zed going at it. LeBlanc trying to dash in and get a couple of combos off, and Zed just returning the damage. Both of them running around at 75% health now. Zed getting off a couple good pokes, though.
Another gank from Zach up top. There's just fighting going on all over the place this game right now.
This is what we wanted to see.
But while that was going on, Zach making his presence known up top. Great job by Elixir to recognize that. While you had Vi bottom going in and picking up the first dragon of the game at 8 minutes.
Now, Zach did a great job ganking, but he's just committing way too much pressure to this top lane. Irelia is already 1-1 as to Gnar's 0-1, and she already has, what is this, a 300 gold lead?
Oh, there's going to be Deathmark going down onto LeBlanc, though. Hold that thought. He does pick up the kill, use those shadows to jump back. Ignite ticking on him is not going to be anywhere near enough.
Very well played by Zed. Yes, he did have to blow that flash, but that flash ensured a kill. Very worth it on his investment with that long cooldown. Going back to top lane, Zach is playing very well. He was able to knock Gnar out of his lead, not giving him that full distance, but he still is committing way too much top lane to a lane that's already winning. It's Vi's turn to camp top lane to put the pressure and make her presence known. Zach's actually going to have to blow his passive. Will Red Buff kill? Oh my god.
Red Buff might get the kill. It does. Red Buff getting the passive and the kill
GG,
onto
Red
Zach.
Buff fed.
That is just, that's embarrassing. Fortunately for Sexual Schmidt.
Did you know Red Buff early on can squash Zach bubbles?
I actually didn't realize that the jungle camps would go after the bubbles. I mean, it makes sense, obviously. They're still coded as the character, but it's just kind of interesting to see that it does. Aurelia going heavily aggressively onto the Gnar again. And like you said, Zach was ganking this lane while Aurelia was already still winning it. Where Zach needs to put some attention, I feel right now, is going to be this bottom lane, because while Corki is actually ahead in terms of CS, Callista is still a little bit stronger, I think. Only getting the Vamps up though is going to set her back a bit.
Stronger champion, especially in that matchup. Now, Zach, why I think he should be hanging out down bottom is, meanwhile, up top lane.
Yeah, there's going to be the long range ult going in from Vi, dragging herself pretty far back, getting a lot of damage onto the Aurelia, but is it going to be enough to get the kill? Gnar is going to go in, get the boomerang, but the tower's going to return a kill back. So 1-for-1 up top.
All right, very well played by that Vi, able to get that ult off before I really did flash away. Mind you, Gnar did have to commit a little bit too much, but he did get a kill and assist for his team. That's putting him back up a little bit higher. Now Aurelia is 2-2, but he actually does have some points on the board. Zach should be hanging out down bottom just because Leona Kalista is such a heavy, like, fight comp. They need to win trades by going in and getting kills. He should be waiting for the response.
Actually down here now, possibly going to be looking to go in for a dive. Nope, just going to be going in a little early there. I feel like they definitely could have just waited and...
But he blew a flash.
Yeah, get it, but still, I mean, they could have very easily waited. It would have been much better if he had waited.
Calculations of if worth or not worth, that is on the worth side.
No, it's not. He could have easily just waited and gotten an engage on instead. It doesn't matter if he burned a flash. It doesn't matter. He could have gotten so much more out of that if he had waited.
Burned a flash.
I don't care that he burned a flash. He could have gotten more. I'm not saying it wasn't worth his time to go down there. I'm saying he could have gotten a lot more.
It would have been, having stayed down there and let Elixir push up would have been so much more of his time devoted to that lane. Meanwhile, look at him. He's already back at the topside jungle farming. He's probably going to be getting a blue buff either for himself or maybe even giving it over to the Aurelia just to give her more dominance in this lane. But Elixir still hasn't pushed out from under their tower. We still have
there's Aurelia fighting the Gnar though, and actually Zed taking a lot of damage in mid from LeBlanc, but no kills.
They're all the same.
Yeah, they both start with a Z, close enough.
Z, insert vowel, and early letter in the alphabet.
Pretty much.
How to name a Z champion in League of Legends?
No, because there's Zillion.
Yeah, but like he's classic. He doesn't count.
Aurelia gonna be firing off that ult. Still not enough to get a kill. That's the thing. Aurelia's gonna be able to bully out Gnar a bit now, especially that she's gotten a few levels under her belt. That's really what Aurelia needs to get strong enough in lane. She is behind on CS still, but if she can continue to bully Gnar out, the problem is Gnar isn't gonna be getting killed. As an ultimate coming up from Leona, followed by the that was a bit of a miscommunication there from Elixir, as Leona going with the Zenith Blade as Kalista ulted her, made the Zenith Blade actually get completely cancelled.
This is where you put your hands together and you wiggle your thumbs in the sign of the awkward turtle.
Yeah,
that was such an awkward engage. But they got the flash! In matters of worth to not worth. Is it worth?
We are going to be seeing a big engagement in the mid lane. LeBlanc going to be going down to the Ignite after the death mark ticks. And there is now Vi just doing what she can. But with both Zed and Zach there, she's going to have to back off in the end. Again, Zed is really heavily outplaying this LeBlanc right now. A big CS lead and 2 kills. That's going to be...
Not to mention he's Zed. He can actually do something late game. That's the 3rd kill on the board for the mid laner. Dr. Demon picking up so much work.
Double Tibbers in the bottom lane. Corki's going to Valkyrie forward, trying to get the kill onto this Kalista. The Phosphorus Bomb is not going to hit, but he is going to flash forward, get the kill, and now Leona is in a world of trouble. He misses, but he's going to fire the next one out and still not hit that one, and does hit that one, but it's not quite enough. Corki. Yeah.
The big one would have been enough damage to actually secure that kill. And if he had landed the one before that, he would have actually gotten the kill without flashing for Kalista. Oh my god.
Yeah, a couple of missed ultimates from Corki there. Definitely going to be hurting him. I mean, they still obviously came out on top there, but those missed ults are going to, type of thing that you have to get past, obviously. You can't dwell on it, but it's one of those things where you're going to be, until you get back to lane, you're just going to be like, man, I should have had a double.
Yeah, he should have. He really should have.
So right now, though, where it stands, and
that's actually the first action bottom lane has actually seen. I mean, there's been a lot of fighting, but that's the first cold, hard numbers on the board. And those numbers on the board are giving, what's the team?
Forgiven Sin.
Yes. Forgiven Sin, a 6-2.
Yeah, we're going to have a fight at Dragon, though, as right now, the Elixir is going for it. Trying to get the steal is Forgiven Sin, but they are not going to be able to get it. The ultimate from Leona coming out. There's the...
That's how you
That's
work
what they were looking for. They are going to get the Zenith Blade onto the Annie. Annie is going to fall here as Corky now on the wrong side of Dragon, but should be able to be fine as they have to go all the way around to get him.
They know he's there
Yeah,
now.
they do. He was shooting rockets at them, but he's just going to be able to Valkyrie out and get himself to safety. Or is he? He's going to get found by Callista now, and they're going to have to... He's going to throw that phosphorus bomb away, but he's very healthy, so they're not going to try and
that phosphorus bomb did half of the health she had.
And still, the second Dragon going over to Elixir. Despite being down almost 3,000 gold and 3 kills, those Dragons, if they can continue to stack those up, they're on a good pace with them. And, of course, obviously going to be having the timer going forward. But if they can continue to control that objective, then they're definitely going to have a chance to get back in this game. Again, they are more heavily built towards the late game anyway. So
yeah,
they are still in a
position. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw Forgiven Sin just completely fall off in the next 10 to 15 minutes here. They only have 6 kills on the board. They only have a 3k gold lead, and they have no dragons. Whereas we've seen Elixir be able to take 2 dragons unanswered for and relatively unfought.
Dr. Demon finding the Vi here, does decide to back off knowing that there is going to be a collapse on him if he stays. He's going to wait, well, Blanc's going to come in, he's just going to use that shadow jump over the wall and be perfectly safe. Does look like first tower of the game is going to fall in bottom though, as my Bunger Oven and Fire Pokemon, but it's going to be the ult coming in from Leona. The Zenith Blade misses, got fired off in the wrong direction.
Callista of the Leona. I honestly don't notice.
Oh, Corky going to be bouncing away, leaving Annie in a really tough situation. But everyone's still getting out of this alive right now. But Corky has Callista pretty low, could be firing off some ultimates. But teleport coming down from the Gnar. He's going to be just trying to bounce in. He's not really at Mega Gnar, but LeBlanc is here as well. Zed trying to make himself know just that they dissuade them. But they just aren't being able to connect. And there's just going to be walking away as everyone just walking away from this.
It's a wet noodle play.
It's not even a wet noodle play. It's just nothing was hitting. Corky, nice job using the Valkyrie with the last bit of his mana to get away from the engagement, and nobody goes down.
Guys, I don't know whether everyone's playing really well or really badly, and I'm very on the side of badly. Because there's... somehow the Callista ult didn't actually knock up Annie. The point blank Zenith Blade missed. Corky's missed a couple of ultimates. I don't even know.
Yeah, it's like there's definitely a couple of misplays from both sides here, and hopefully it won't affect them going towards the late game. Because, you know, it's going to be so unfortunate if there's going to be, like, a single misplay that costs you the game. And it's one of those things that you can look back on afterwards and be like, oh, man, like, it's so demoralizing to look back on it later and see, man, I just completely whiffed a skill shot there that if it had landed may have changed the course of everything.
Yeah, but and him having that extra kill earlier. Him having that extra kill earlier from what should have been an easier double kill than it was, that's going to be big later on.
Oh, here comes Zach going in with the Let's Bounce. The tower is going to go down. Where's the rest of Forgiven Sin? Finally, Aurelia jumping in, but she's on her own against 4. She is not going to be going anywhere. Gnar was on his own against 4 as well on the other side. So it ends up being a 1-for-1
top
trade.
Laners versus the team. And neither top laner did anything. Cool.
Yeah, that was iffy. Iffy at best.
This game is definitely interesting to say the least.
Yeah, so
the vision coming out from Forgiven Sin. There are awards from blue to blue. It's very nice coverage throughout the team, actually.
Yeah, it is going to be right now
That's
it's
coming up in a minute too.
yeah, things are pretty even at the moment. Not much has changed. It's a slightly larger gold lead by about 1,000 for Forgiven Sin. So they've gained 1,000 gold in the last 3 to 4 minutes.
Hold on. Oh, they changed the Black Cleaver art. I was extremely confused. And wait, didn't we have a Phage earlier?
Yes.
Which he seems to have sold?
No.
What? Wait, what?
Someone didn't read patch notes.
Oh, well, this is awkward.
Yeah. So now we all know who doesn't do their job here. As we see Gnar gonna get collapsed on by the Aurelia and Corki. Zed coming over the wall as well. And despite him being in Mega Gnar form, they just outright take him down.
I think if he was out of Mega Gnar, he would have had more of a chance being able to get that double bounce away and that little bit of a speed boost.
Dragon is coming up right now, and Elixir is instantly going for it. However, there are a couple members from Forgiven Sin right here. The rest of the team is going to be making their way down, with the exception of Aurelia, who wants to go get that farm, but being called down to the Dragon by her team. And
so we're going to see a full 10-man team fight forming up here, except for Gnar, who's going to be up, but teleport is still down.
That was an interesting teleport from Aurelia. Not really sure it was the best of decisions to use it there. There was clearly going to be time for her to walk in. She teleported into the Dragon Pit. Like I said, definitely, I mean, she had time to just walk down. There was no reason to use that teleport there. And
she was already there, I thought.
Not quite close. She wasn't quite there, but there was plenty of time. Both teams just being super passive, but there goes the Zac, finally starting things out. Gnar's going to get pulled into the middle of the team and instantly taken down. The disengage trying to come out from Elixir, but it's just not going to be enough. That's 2 kills. LeBlanc just getting exploded on the back lines, and now it's just Leona and Callista left. A triple kill for Zac coming out, and that is an ace for Forgiven Sin. And we were talking about how it looked like Forgiven Sin was going to be falling off, but they just got themselves an ace.
Here's what we just saw at that fight. They saw Gnar get to the fight, get on the field, and Zac took his chance. Before Gnar was anywhere near even going Mega, Zac was going to go in, take him down before he could even go Mega, get that stun from that basic skill of his, and use that Gnar just to stun as many people as he could, as they are in the jungle and in such a closed space. Zac went in, got Let's Bounce off, and his general sling shot knockup on Gnar, locked him up and took him down. And the team just followed suit. Everyone collapsed perfectly, using their skills very well. LeBlanc did use her Zonias, but she was taken out so fast afterwards that it didn't even matter. And that was the first dragon that we saw going over to Forgiven Sin. Sorry.
Yeah, and the thing is, we were talking about how it was going to be difficult for them to get onto the backline, onto the Callista. They didn't even have to get onto Callista there. They just took out absolutely everybody beforehand, and it was the engagement was just so much heavily in their favor that it didn't matter that they were focusing on taking out the tankier champions, because they're not all that tanky. Gnar building the Black Cleaver as his first item, yeah, it has some health on it, but it's not a tank item still.
Especially when you fell behind.
Oh, that's a beautiful Gnar ult though, as they are going to be fighting up by this blue buff. Vi going to be taken down very low by this Aurelia, does end up getting the kill. Gnar will return it though. However, actually it was Vi who got it, but now Gnar is in some trouble. Zac's going to be jumping onto him. A killing spree for Corki as Leona goes down, and everyone but LeBlanc
wait a second
falling here, but it was a 4v4 because Zed is down here. Yep. Nope. LeBlanc not going to go down. LeBlanc almost getting the kill onto Zed, but now an early Baron call. This is a bold call here. I'm not sure if they even have the health to do this. Zac's just
extremely interesting to me.
I mean, it's not much of a risk. It's not like there's going to be anyone coming to steal it. The only risk is if you have enough health yourselves. Sexual Schmidt using those bloblets to keep himself healed up, and it looks like they are going to be able to pick it up just barely.
And 5-man Baron buff too. Not a single person is down. Everyone's able to pick up that crucial buff. If they are able to end this soon, they can end this on their side.
Yeah, right now they are at a point where they are just stronger than Elixir because of now
10,000 gold lead. They're
turning that into a
dragon
10,000 gold lead.
behind. They're
Is
12
huge.
kills ahead. They're 2 towers ahead.
5-0-5 on the side on the Zed, 4-0-5 for Corky, and a 4-1-5 on Zach. Their team fight has just been so strong right now, and they've gotten the engages. They went in the way that they want to, built themselves a lead on that dragon fight, and then despite the fact that they were able to have despite the fact that Nar got a really good engagement off on the blue side buff, they were just too far behind at that moment in time because of the fact that they had just won the team fight at Dragon.
Yeah, and you mentioned Nar having Black Cleaver. It's really not in his best interest. He's 1-5 before that fight that just happened. He was 1-5-0. Had no kill participation besides a singular kill that he got. I actually forget how. I think it was from that gank that he actually did die. That was his 3rd death to Irelia in top lane? Something like that. No, he was 1-2.
Yeah, they got a kill up top.
When you're behind, it's very important to build defense because you're not going to be able to outscale the person ahead of you if you're both rushing for offensive stats. You're going to be in a snowballing effect and falling a little bit behind more and more. Rushing Black Cleaver all the way wasn't his best call. If he would have maybe left on a Phage or a Brutalizer and just sat with one of those items, that would have been fine.
Yeah, we are going to see, though, Forgiven Sin using this Baron buff, trying to make sure they can get a tower out of it. They haven't done a whole lot with it just yet, but going to be sieging up this top inner tower. And Elixir just kind of playing defensively at the moment, waiting to try and get an opportunity to go in. Nar is about to go Mega, though, so that could be what they're playing for. They're just not in a very good situation to try and defend as with this next wave coming up. There should be some damage going down onto the tower. Looks like they are just going to be getting more poke onto it. Nar getting dropped down to half health and still no engagement.
This is where you back off before you get knocked up.
They are going to be going in. Zach jumping onto the team. There's the Let's Bounce. Going to be knocking up so many members. And on the backside, that's a beautiful Leona ultimate, but is it just too little too late as the team is just melting around her. The Callista, the final one to fall in the full-on ace. Only Corky going down, which, yeah, you got rid of Corky, but Zed and Aurelia are still going to do plenty of damage to this tower. That's the inhibitor tower down. Going to be taking the inhibitor next. I don't think they're going to have anywhere near enough time to get onto the Nexus towers. They should just be backing after this one.
A couple minions there, but they are going to play it safe and back out. None of them being quite as healthy as they would like, besides maybe Zed and Zach, just because he is such a PV champion as is. Again, very well played by Forgiven Sin. They are ahead, they know it, and they're picking the fights that show it. They are definitely...
Lupus?
Me? Yep.
You cut out there.
Okay, yeah, I sort of heard it. Kat stepped on the wire. She found new ways to interrupt me, guys.
So, by the way, Forgiven Sin right now, this is... We said the way that they're going to win was by getting ahead early and just forcing their way into the enemy team and not letting them get anything. They got 2 dragons early on, but they have not been able to do anything since that point. And Forgiven Sin has a massive lead now.
This would be a great buff. Oh my god, we're seeing an Irelia teleport from the back line. Dude, they know about it.
I don't think they saw it, but that's still just not a terribly good position. They are just going to be backing away. And Dragon's going to go over to Forgiven Sin if they go for it, because they just have the complete control of the area now. There is one ward from Elixir in there, but they're not going to be able to defend this.
Already, by the way. Just so you know.
Yeah, they're not going to be able to try and contest this Dragon. Second one going to go over to Forgiven Sin, our 4th of the game. But Forgiven Sin right now, they have the tools to just go ahead and pick a lane and force their way down it, which they did it up top with the Baron buff. They didn't even really need the Baron buff. There's not a whole lot of wave clear on the side of Elixir. They were banking so heavily on being the stronger team in team fights that they just don't have the way to clear out these waves efficiently.
And they tried getting to that point too fast, and it works against them. Again, with Nar not getting tanky earlier on when he was so behind in his lane, Bottom actually losing their what was a tie for a long time to Forgiven Sin. Corki able to pick up that kill, though he did expend a lot of energy trying to get it. He did get it first. He did beat Kalista to getting points on the board.
They are going to be just pushing their way onto this inverter. Look, there's no real stopping it. There goes Leona coming in, a beautiful ultimate. This could be the engage that Elixir wants, but they are losing a lot of members. Aurelia just on the back lines, tanking up a lot of tower shots. She is going to go down, but not before a second kill gets picked up. That is only, oh, there goes a third now as, no, it was only a second. That was a
LeBlanc clone.
Yeah.
Expertly using it to maybe blow a couple CCs, couples vital skills. LeBlanc is still up. She could
Gnar still really healthy, going for the Gnar ultimate, but it does miss, only throwing Corki away to the
but
side.
He got him.
A great LeBlanc comes in, gets the kill, but it's not at what cost, as Zed, Annie, and Zac are still alive. Only LeBlanc left up. She is very healthy, tries to go in, but gets stunned. There's the Zhonya's going to be used, trying to get the Annie, but just not enough. The ace comes out, but Vi and Kalista are now up. Zac wants to tank this tower just so that they can get it, and they are going to. They're going to lose 2 for it, but having that second open inhibitor was worth it in their eyes.
True, especially when you have a Corki or a Zed or even, I don't know, Aurelia that can just get in there and do so much damage in such a short amount of time. All of those champions just being able to shred with just massive amounts of attack damage. Zed, that's actually his first start of the game, and has been 9-1-7 up until this point. He's been playing so well, being able to get in the back line with the Aurelia, being able to burst the Kalista and LeBlanc in almost every single fight we've seen in this game.
Yeah, the fact that Zed won his lane so hard is absolutely huge for Forgiven Sin. That's the reason why they're able to go into these fights. They, of course, Zac being a massively tanky, having the ability to just initiate whenever they want, and then having the damage to follow it up. We see Baron is live, and it looks like that's where Forgiven Sin wants to go next. Get that buff to try and finish off the game. They're just going to be getting vision of the area, getting ward control, and possibly starting it up as, I mean, someone from, they are getting the inhibitor back soon, but there is still a super minion in that top lane. Annie going to be staying on the opposite side to possibly run interference. There goes Zac jumping over the wall. They want this fight instead. Going to be trying to peel off the Baron, but a good disengage so far until Zed goes in onto Kalista. That death mark is going to kill her, and that's so much of Elixir's damage.
Leona
gone
to the Corki and the
Vi on the back line, trying to get the kill onto the Zed, gonna flash for it, but again, what's the cost of it? As LeBlanc is still alive too, but there's the ultimate gonna pop that Zhonya's, and now Corki timing the Zhonya's perfectly with that phosphorus bomb. They get all but Gnar, and that should be enough for them to
that super minion is doing enough damage and supporting enough that's going to be a free inhibitor.
Yeah, inhibitor going down, and with the super minion here, Corki should look to get this, at least this Nexus tower. They are going to work on this second inhibitor as well. This could very well be the game. There are going to be a couple people respawning, but the second Nexus turret is down. They're going to turn their attention onto the Nexus. Leona going in with the ult, trying to stall long enough, but it's not going to be, as the Nexus is about to fall. There it goes, Forgiven Sin picking up the victory. Unfortunately for Elixir, their first quote-unquote first game in the League of Legends Amateur Summoners Tournament is not going to be a victory.